Hello, Abigail here with another candle wax reading. This candle wax reading is what do I need to do next? This is a message from spirit, your guides, ancestors. I will do an energy check-in to clarify who this reading is for. With these energy check-ins and with these readings, I go for like 50-50, 60-40 split of what applies and what doesn't apply. If you feel aligned, then go for it. And if you don't, I have other readings available, and I always drop a wax reading once a week, as well as a pick a pile tarot reading. As always, if there is any type of offering you would like, feel free to ask for it. Sometimes I can't do it, like doing a pick a pile or a pick a group wax reading is just a lot of energy and a lot of wax. But if there's a topic, a subject, or a different format you would appreciate, definitely throw them my way and I will take them into consideration. Anyways, getting into this, we will set our beautiful orange candle. I picked orange because it feels activating, and this is a reading about action and the action we're going to be taking moving forward. So, and also interesting on the bottom of the deck, we do have the Magician and the Fool. So, definitely about getting the show on the road. So, who is this wax reading for? Who is this energy for? Who needs to know? Oh, yep, and the Fool came right out. So, the Fool is interesting because the Fool is the number 0. So, it's definitely, this reading is definitely for someone who is feeling the shift in energy, feeling the change, feeling the transformation, but doesn't really know what steps to take forward. Feels a bit, or there's so many options that you're struggling to make a decision. But yeah, definitely the kind of wild possibilities of like endless possibilities that can come with a 0. Then we have the 3 of Swords. I want to pull one more before I read. Oh, the Devil, the High Priestess, 3 of Swords. Yeah, it feels like there's a lot of conflict with this pile of what to do with the Devil. It's like, should I take the traditional route? Should I not take the traditional route? It also feels like this group is very kind of stuck in like decision paralysis with the Swords. It's like, it's not necessarily that there's a lot of opportunity, but there's a lot of different directions you would kind of strike out in to make a choice, to pick a direction, but you don't know which one it is. And also with the Devil, it feels like some other things that you have like pursued in the past, things haven't worked out. And at this point, you're like, I need to conserve my energy. I need to pick the right choice because I'm running out of resources. I'm running out of options. I'm running out of just the capacity I'm hearing to like do things. And I think the impetus has also been to kind of not do anything in kind of a very devilish response, like, oh, if there's all this energy I have to work with, then I'm just going to not do it and like subvert the energy. But I don't think that's the answer either. I think there's a middle road, especially with this High Priestess, it being a 2. You know, we need to kind of go within and to listen to our intuition, our spirituality. And with the High Priestess, also something like this kind of reading, seeking out an outside energetic source to give us direction, to give us guidance as we have to choose how to move forward. Also, this card is screaming. Yeah, 3 of Cups. It also feels like there's a lot of people giving like advice or input right now. And it's just too much. It's all too much. It's overwhelming. It's not helpful. It's not like, while we love the friends and we want to celebrate and spend time with them, it also feels like every time we spend time with them, we're getting a lot of opinions. Yeah, 9 of Wands. This is actually kind of similar energy to the last reading that I did, which was what Spirit needs you to know right now. Well, no, just what Spirit needs you to know. So that might also be a helpful reading for you. That would have been a week before this reading. Get the King of Cups. Yeah, you're being called to listen to yourself. The Wands, there's so much stuff in the way. There's too much outside information. You need to follow your instincts. You need to follow your intuition. You need to follow guidance from a neutral source, especially with the Devil here. I'm going to pull one more card. But there's a big call to listen to your intuition. And this is something that you've kind of been getting from the universe across the board. Like every time you make a choice, if it's not in alignment with your intuition, it's like womp womp. That's not going to work out, even though it seemed really promising because you didn't go with your intuition. You just went with what you should do. Yeah. It's also about, I feel like a lot of this, we're going to get into the more I draw, the more I'm like, oh, I'm just getting advice now. It's not even an energy check. But this is for a crowd that is ready to move, a crowd that is ready to make decisions and choices and to find more stability within the choices that they're making. And so if you are feeling like there's too much information, you're overwhelmed, you aren't really getting a path forward, then this reading is for you. And hopefully you will find some beneficial information in here that will give you even just a small step forward, or maybe even a big step. Anyways, I'm going to clear the space, prepare the candle and the water, and I will see you all in a minute. All right, and we're back. We have our water, we have our candle. Also, just a heads up, there is a raging storm outside. Usually my mic is pretty good, but if anything peeks through, just see it as ambient sound. I'm going to light our candle with my very non-aesthetically pleasing lighter. And we will get into this reading. What do I need or you need to do right now? Let's get into it. Channeling the energy, spirit, what does this group need to do right now? So, firstly, a lot of the stuff you have been doing, although it does feel completely random and not connected at all, which is why I think some of you are confused, actually has like, it actually does have a through line, interestingly enough. There's actually some cohesion with what you are feeling as chaos. If you notice, all of these separate little things, these little drops of the wax, are now like circling because of the way the water is and slowly forming this kind of chain link. So this is just a confirmation that some of the like random stuff you've done where you're like, this doesn't connect at all, and I it's not really helping like maybe one part of your life, like maybe something in your relationships or maybe something in your home, and you're like, well, this doesn't really necessarily connect to work. It actually does. All of this is influencing each other. So don't view like a home improvement as separate from career. Don't view something in your relationship as separate from your home or whatever. Everything is actually feeding into everything, and it feels like, well, this is also typical in general for just the human experience. This group specifically, everything feels like it really bleeds together. There's really not a whole lot of delineation. We do have a lot of shapes coming through. We have a phallus here, complete with the family jewels. There is a lot of creativity and passion and opportunity um, in this moment, in what you are doing. Don't underestimate the choices you're making. Oh, we have like, it's blurred now, but we have the silhouette of a man. There's also a man coming in that is going to help with your next steps, that is going to give direction. It may not be necessarily direct help, but something about this interaction is going to give you insight moving forward, or is going to give you a push or a nudge in the direction that you need to take moving ahead. Ooh, this flame has gotten big. So there's definitely a figure. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be a man. It could be a masculine energy or someone who just kind of gives off dude vibes. um, but that is what is coming forward. We also have a camel sitting here. For some of you, what you need to do next is to sit and conserve your energy. Um, this is for a very small group. If you specifically have strong associations with the number three, or you've been seeing things in three, this group needs to chill a little bit. There's less of what you need to do going forward and more that you need to cool it. We also have like it's like a female moose here. Some of you also just need to really put your whole chest behind your projects and what you're doing. Some of you are kind of delicately pushing things towards the door, kind of feels like you're not fully endorsing some of the stuff you're doing, or you're just like, oh, I'm just going to put this out and see how it goes. And maybe I won't promote it. Maybe I won't. You need to start promoting it. You need to start being proud of your work. You need to start asking friends and family and any support system that you have to start sharing your work. Um, because a part of, I think, the reason you're feeling a bit delayed is because you're not getting the affirmation you need to move forward. And part of that's because you're not even fully presenting things to the light of day. Alrighty. So, yeah. What do we got going on here? Um, it's interesting. We have like a deer over here, like a deer or a fawn. Um, yeah, some of you need to be louder and prouder. Some of you are being a bit timid. Also, kind of like the feeling overwhelmed that we got from the tarot portion of this is like you're also kind of maybe inviting criticism or commentary from people who you just don't need to, who are giving you their opinions and you're accepting it. And like, what what expertise do they have to give you this opinion? We also have two figures here, one sitting, one kind of leaning over the shoulder of the other. It does feel like someone's watching you a bit, and like you're feeling scrutinized, and that's partially why you're not. I would suggest exposure therapy. Like, if you're struggling to promote your work, put your face online, like, find a way to get yourself out in the open, to get yourself seen. We also have a Y here. So, company with a Y in it, or a letter Y, someone with the name that starts with Y very well could be coming in and be a part of your journey and story and are a sign that you are on the right path. We got a crescent moon here. Um, some of you are very protected by the divine goddess and really need to call on divine goddess energy. Doesn't matter your gender, but you need to call on divine goddess energy to help you with the work that you're doing. That's part of the reason you are maybe feeling a delay, is because you need to bring certain energies and people on board. We have this figure here with like a beautiful, looks like an afro actually. And, you know, this I think is a specific symbol for some specific people about claiming your power. Like, not everyone has that heritage or the history with um, that type of hair. But if you come from a lineage that has a history with afros, if you know the history of hair in corporate America because of racism, there's something here about being loud and proud about yourself and being even more yourself. And that is something that you need to do moving forward to like be successful. Is like, just because you're not getting traction, and this is something that's been coming through pretty much almost all of my readings, just because you're not getting traction right now is not an indication that you need to lower your standards, that you need to minimize what you're doing. It means that you need to do more. It means that you need to ask for more. It means that you need to stand in your power more. It means that you need to be more visible. It doesn't mean you have to share more or give away more, but it means you need to um, be more visibly seen in the work that you do and in the workplace in order to get what you deserve in life. But yeah, definitely, which is a hard line because we've had a couple signs in here so far about like people being like nosy and surveilling us. And so it can feel hard to like stand out and be loud and proud about ourselves and the work that we do, and the life choices that we make. But in here, it's saying you need to be loud and proud so that you can kind of flush out who is right and wrong for you. We also have a moth here. Some of you are also going to be coming forth at an unusual time because, right, most of the times we associate victory and power with the day, but for some of you, you are going to kind of build your power behind the scenes before you come here. So don't feel bad if you aren't getting your visibility. Some of you are actually building and creating something behind the scenes, and that is where your power is going to come from, because you're going to come out fully formed into the world, unlike some of us who kind of have the whole metamorphosis thing on like a widescreen TV in a public place. We also have a slug here. You know, slow and steady genuinely does win the race. This is an indication to not stop when it comes to your dreams and desires, to not give up when it comes to what you're seeking. Just because the journey is slow doesn't mean the journey is wrong. Um, what else? Yeah, it also feels like there's a really big shift coming. There's just the wax is building and building and building. And so, what you need to do right now is to not give up. Do not sacrifice yourself. Do not give away parts of yourself. We have these four dots that just kind of popped off randomly. I'd say 4 weeks to 4 months this big event is happening. So, like, prepare yourself. Don't be caught with with the trousers down. Don't be caught sleeping when the big stuff happens. There's also the figure of a child, having hope and being hopeful and believing is something that's coming through. It's also kind of very in line with the color orange. It's the color of joy, it's the color of creativity. It's often associated with children. So, yeah, there's something really big coming, a big change, a big victory, a big success. And a lot of what you need to do right now is to not give up on those dreams and desires while also accepting that, like, they can change and shift over time, but you are going to get the general success that you want regardless of how it's going to happen. A lot of messages about threes and fours, so 333, 444 could be angel numbers that you start to see um, around times that you need to take action. So, like, if you have like a paper you need to sign, or you have a deadline and you start seeing threes and fours, that's a sign to, like, move. We also have olives here, which are about abundance and growth and also longevity, because olive trees can live to be incredibly old. And so this is about seeing your progress and your success and your life in a broader lens, in a broader view, as not just a success to benefit you, but a success that is going to benefit the collective, that is going to benefit future generations. This is also, I think, a call in for some of us to be a little more mindful when it comes to nature and the way that we interact with it, to be more careful, to be more respectful, also to, like, remember the saying of, like, leaving a place better than you found it. And this, obviously there are much bigger systems and things in place in the world. You can't, one individual can't change things, but many individuals can. And it's a reminder that you have collective power to protect the world that we live in. We have a hen here, which is about, uh, riches and material possessions, and also, like, laying egg or giving birth to a project, but doing it consistently. And so your consistency is a good thing. If you haven't mastered it, this is the time to work on getting more and more consistent with whatever type of success you were looking for. It's the little things day to day that change stuff, not usually a massive overnight thing. We have an older woman here too. This is also speaking about needing to have perspective in this moment and needing to plan for more than just the immediate things that you want, to see the bigger picture, to have a longer perspective. We also have two breasts here. Um, this is about fertility and abundance, and also literally hearing you have assets. And while some of your assets might be physical, I think this is also talking about taking a really good look at, like, what your gifts and skills are, and not, like, hiding them or minimizing them. You don't necessarily have to monetize them, but, like, don't forget that you are a very skilled and powerful person. Don't undersell yourself. As they said, you have assets, flaunt them. We also have a butterfly here. So while some of you are transforming undercover and then will be revealed to the light of day, or I think also with that moth we saw earlier, it's about, like, being recognized in a very niche group, which is as equally acceptable. But there's also this butterfly, which is some of you are coming into a time of greater visibility and you need to start getting comfortable with that visibility. I do want to ask specifically about relationships, new, old, continuing. Is there any guidance of what needs to be done now when it comes to connection? We're going to start first with folks already in a relationship. What is a guidance for folks in a relationship? So we have this little creature, and it literally came through in another reading earlier in one of longtime clients who is from the Philippines literally told me the name and I can't remember it, but it's this little buggy-eyed creature. They're precious. You need to be curious. What you need to do in your relationship is you need to be curious if you have one right now. Now, this is also morphing into a squirrel. So, this is about building and storing and creating. It's time to think about the long term. It's time to think about the winter, quote unquote, to make plans with your significant other if you have one, to try new things, to switch up your patterns. Also, with these animals coming up, this is about using nature to foster connection with the people in your life, specifically those you are romantically involved in. But yeah, a big emphasis on kind of like making plans. Also, what's coming through, especially with squirrels, is like some of you need to learn to fight your partner, not in like a bad way, but to fight them in the sense of like learning how to have healthy fights with your partner is really important. And a part of the reason some of you might be wondering what to do next in your relationship is because you're just not fighting enough. And I'm not talking about toxic fighting. I'm just talking about knowing how to disagree healthily with your partner is a really important skill if you're in a long-term relationship. Um, so we're moving on to the singles, and I find this funny because we have, firstly, it's shifting now, but we had a grub, a big fat juicy grub, and usually we only get to see grubs when we lift the rock. Some of you need, what you need to do right now is you need to leave your homes. You need, if you truly want to find someone and you are single, you need to get outside. You need to get out from under the rock. You need to get outside. We also have a whale here flipping their tail up. You know, this is also, whales have really deep, rich emotional relationships with each other. This is about also connecting with community and not hyperfixating on the singleness of it all and just making sure that you're in the flow of the energy that you want. I think some of you might benefit if you are manifesting a future partner by singing your manifestations, by getting your voice out there and using those frequencies to call someone in. We also have like a merman here. For some of you single folks, you are genuinely looking for a mythical creature and you are going to find said mythical creature. It's turning into a mermaid, so I don't think the gender matters. Doesn't matter whether you preference men, women, something in between, but you are going to find your mythical creature, but it's about getting into that frequency rather than constantly wondering where they are. Get into the frequency of the life that you want. You don't have to have the life that you want, but just start building the frequency for the life that you want, and this mythical creature is going to find you and pursue you, is what I'm hearing. So it won't just be you. All right, that's the advice for relationships. Moving into anything, most of this has been about career, but anything specifically around career. We have a bat. You know, this really goes to that kind of moving in silence, moving behind the scenes. Um, I'm really strongly hearing don't share your success until, well, not even, you don't even have to. It's going to be obvious when success hits, whether it's in work, whether it's in your romantic life, whether it's in your family life. You don't need to tell anybody because it's going to be obvious. And up until it's obvious, no one needs to know because there's some haters that are going to kind of push back. All right. What do we need to know about the next 3 months? Is there anything we need to know about the next? No, let's do shorter. Let's do next month. What do we need to know about the next month? Okay, there's two distinctive paths you could take in the next month. There's one path that's going to lead to a dead end, and that might delay you a smidge, but eventually those opportunities will find you. So don't be too anxious about stuff. You just might have to wait a couple more weeks if you take a different path. So if you make a choice and you feel like you've made a big mistake, know that that mistake is not as big as you think. It will eventually be just fine. We also have a crescent moon here, and we had one earlier about, you know, this is very much like goddess energy, moving with the moon cycles, you know, taking care of your health and your emotional well-being. Nothing that is meant for you is going to destroy you. And so when making choices, when doing what you need to do in your day to day, nothing you need to do is going to harm you. So don't let people con you into thinking you have to do certain things that are hurtful because you don't. And that's real bad advice. I'm also getting the message, and this came through in the energy check, and that technically no one's advice for you is really that good right now because this group really has a unique experience. So kind of taking your own advice, listening to your body, doing your spiritual practices guidance rather than seeking outside advice. The only caveat I have here is unless the person is an expert in the field you want to be in and has the career or the life that you would like to have. So someone with a healthy relationship, someone with the job that you want, someone with a specialty in a field that you want to work in. Those types of people are the only people you should be taking advice from. Can't remember what they're called, but there's like a little creature that you can look at under microscopes that have like all these little legs, and there's like two of them holding hands. So, you know, this isn't necessarily what you need to do, but there is a message coming through that connection is coming. You're just two little weirdos, and not in a bad way, but you're two very unique individuals that not a lot of people understand or have access to. So have faith that that is coming through. And if you have someone that you have that connection with and things have been rough, this is about a renewed connection. All right, what do you need to do next? Final messages. I'm definitely hearing invest, not necessarily money, but time, resources, energy. Some of you need to take more classes. Some of you need to, I'm specifically getting, do the classes and researches and read the books that you already have because we have a key here. The key that you're looking for is inside a lot of things that you've already invested in. You just haven't had the time to necessarily do anything. And this key is now turning into a tree. That research, that reading, that education is all going to come in handy real soon and tribute to your growth. So, what you need to do next is you need to read, you need to use the stuff that you already have, you need to utilize the resources you've already purchased or attained. I'm also getting with this tree here, and with this kind of fast moving trail, some of you really need to do some abundance workshops or work or spell work. And what's missing is, so far, if you've been doing them, is a lack of belief. And I know that's kind of hard to quantify, but you got to believe it more because it is going to work. We have this beautiful kind of full circle moment happening here. It is going to work. It is going to be successful, but you do have to believe in it. And you also need to, and this came through earlier, you need to be asking for more. Some of your ancestors are looking down on you, both metaphorically and actually, because you're not asking for enough. And they're like, is this all this hoe wants? How lame is that? We also have this robe here. There's something about, needing to, what kind of robe is this? This is more of like an elegant dressing gown, if you will. Some of you really need to lean into your, I'm hearing wealthy widow vibes of like luxuriating when you do have downtime, really digging into it, really luxuriating in it. Basically, when you have to take action and when you're doing what you need to do next, you are doing that. But then when you have times and spaces of rest, you need to be fully resting. Some of you are kind of like trying to like rest and work at the same time, and that literally is impossible. So let's not do that. What else do we need to do next? Yeah, I'm just feeling a really strong energy here, and this is for the majority of you, not all of you, but most of you, that you just need to keep consistently putting in the work. Something is going to give, especially with all the shifts in the astrology recently, because I'm also an astrologer. Something is going to shift, something is going to change. And you are going to see some abundance coming in. I'm hearing specifically in the summer. So, like, don't give up. I'm not saying to burn yourself out, but keep doing the little things you have been doing because something is starting to get filled up. You're about to push something over an edge. We also have a frog here. Frogs are really good in their environments. They are harmonious. They also, coming back to like that singing aspect, they also sing their little mating songs and call in their magic. So this is an affirmation to please, use your voice to do manifestation work. If you're feeling down, maybe sing something to kind of bring your spirits up, or maybe sing something sad to just commune with yourself and to like honor the moment, because that's also a way of doing magic. We also have a genie here. And this kind of comes back to that figure that we saw in the very beginning of someone who's going to help you with your dreams. It feels like someone is coming in here larger than life. Blow this out before I burn my fingies off. To grant a wish or to help you along your journey. So keep your eyes peeled out for this person. Like I said, it is giving kind of masculine energy, but it could also just be someone who is real big and loud. But yeah, so kind of summarizing, I'm going to wait for the wax to cool for a minute and then we'll read what's left. But what you need to do next is to maintain what you have been doing, to put yourself in places where abundance can find you, to investing and recognizing what resources you do and don't have, and also preparing yourself for some real abundance and real magic to come into your life, because it does feel like something big is coming, something is on the horizon, something's moving towards you. And it's about getting ready for that change and creating a capacity for that change. All right, let's see. I like to read the backside by looking through the light. Sorry, folks, you probably can't see this. But yeah, there's like a figure with like a leg. I don't know if you see it, but they've got like a leg out. It's almost like an action figure, knee up, arm out, another arm kind of pulled back in like a punching motion. You know, it's giving superhero. It's kind of giving Sailor Moon. Um, you also just, there is an element of like needing to see yourself as a larger than life figure, needing to see yourself as someone who is powerful, as someone who is bold, as someone who is worthy of belief. Um, you might feel very at sea right now, but there's actually a lot of stuff kind of coming together, especially with how, if you notice, some of my wax is super lanky and big, but this is very compact. Everything is coming together for something for you in the near future. And clearing capacity, making space, creating strong boundaries, deciding what's important to you and sticking to it is coming through. And also, when something does happen to shift it, the universe wants to make sure that you're ready so that you can hold shape rather than kind of either being overwhelmed or burning out in it. All of this kind of build up to this point is to prepare you to be able to handle it when it comes in. I don't know that I'm seeing necessarily anything else. There is a little caterpillar up in here, and we've talked about the moths and the butterflies. You might feel like a caterpillar right now, but I think that you're actually closer. You're actually more in the cocoon. Um, but this is also a reminder, like, we can be more than one things at once. You can be a caterpillar and in a cocoon, metamorphosizing, if that's a word, and also a butterfly at the same time in the human experience. So don't judge yourself based on where you are. Also, with the caterpillar, I think you are going to have to kind of be ready before you're ready, which is why a lot of this reading kind of centered around capacity and having the energy to like hold stuff and um, putting yourself in the right place at the right time. It's because you are going to feel like you're kind of jumping off into the ether, and that's kind of the energy that is a signal, not a signal, but an affirmation for you, is that when you are doing stuff that you don't feel quite prepared for, that is what you need to do in this moment. And it's not about burning yourself out, it's not about doing too much, but it's about pushing yourself just that tiny bit extra so that you are acting outside of what is possible and literal, so that you are creating kind of a bigger and broader belief that is aligned with the universe bringing in bigger and broader dreams and desires for you. Anyways, this is my wax reading for you all. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It helps this channel to grow. You can always pop a topic down in the comments if you'd like me to read on that. And if it aligns with spirit, I will absolutely incorporate it. I wish you all the best of morning, noon, night, evening, whenever you find this. And I hope to see you in another one of my readings in the near future. Bye.